Ready?
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate an adjustment, scan and an adjustment with this computerized instrument called Ultralign. So what we're going to do first is we're going to scan down Leah's neck. We're going to get a reading on the computer screen that's going to tell us how rigid or stiff the tissue is and the joints below the tissue. So in a normal functioning spine, the spine should have normal range of motion. It should move pretty freely. So when I look at Leah's scan here, her lower cervical spine is fixated a bit. So what I would do is I would highlight the areas that I wanted to adjust, correlating with what joints are out of alignment. In this case, if you see 5, 6, and 7, I'd hit this button over here, which is called the treatment. It takes me into this screen. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so on this screen, what we see is 4 different boxes. The first one depicts what levels I chose to adjust, see 5, 6, and 7. The second one where it says no limits, I'm going to just let the computer decide when it's done. There's a crystal inside of the head of this that measures how much resistance there is in the tissue. It's called a piezoelectric crystal sensor. It doesn't really matter what it's called, but it's measuring how much resistance there is. This next box here talks about force, how much force we want to use. We're going to use probably about 20 pounds of force on her neck to adjust it. And then finally over here, frequency, that's how fast the instrument's going to tap into the joint frequency-wise, cycles per second, to make a change. And the software measures that. It's much smarter than me. It measures that off the scan. So for instance, for C5, she's about 11.8 hertz per cycles a second. C6 is a little bit less than that, about 11.5. And C7, she's down to about 11. So if I was actually going to adjust her right now, I'd put the instrument onto the area of the spine I want to adjust. That's what the instrument's doing, just going to tap into the joints. If you can see on my finger here, if you're close enough to do that, it's actually vibrating my hand, right? So we're getting a vibrational frequency into the joint. Then we will come back, we rescan it. We get a post scan which show up over here, down here, and over here in a different color. That would show us what we got to change right away. So we go to the thoracic spine, we do the same thing. First we scan. For a thoracic spine, she'd be T1. We were going to do an adjustment on her, T9 and T10. I would do the same thing. I would pick what areas I want to adjust, T1, T9, and 10. Hit treatment, back into this screen. Remember, this shows us what areas I picked. This talks about how long we're going to tap on it, which is no limit. Let the computer decide. This again talks about how much force. In the case of the thoracic spine, we're going to use about 25 pounds, which is going to be a little bit harder. And then once that's done, it takes me back into this screen. I'll do a rescan, shows up over there. Gives us the opportunity to compare before and after, before and after, before and after. Ideally over here what we want to see is these lines almost overlapping each other, almost like a rainbow. Comes out of that side of the box, drops in over this side of the box, just short of the corner, touching that first grid line right there. These bars all want to be lined up like a bunch of piano keys, one over the other, on somewhere between the 20 and the 40 marker on that. So you can see if I scanned the tabletop here, I'm going to get a way different reading, right? Because that's 100% resistance. See the difference? If I scan my hand, I'm going to get more of a tissue reading. If I scan right here, which is pretty close to my hand, I'm going to get a different reading. And you see the frequencies all change. So that's how we determine where we want to treat somebody with the instrument. We're able to adjust their back and their neck without twisting or popping them, which a lot of people are afraid of, and be able to see from the computer the change we got from before to after. All right?